evening. We got 2 packages. One which arrived yesterday. It was originally scheduled to arrive tomorrow, so you know, so it's nice that those estimates are a lot more conservative. Probably also helps that Austin maybe one of the major places will be coming out. I don't know. I've noticed with overseas stuff that sometimes it just maybe comes in directly here in Texas and just, or maybe even in Austin, it's just instantly delivered. I don't know. Anyways, the point is, we have it now. Let's just make a quick mess and get this out of the wrapper. And get the receipt here out of the way so I don't accidentally flash my address or anything like that. Then, this one. That's pretty, okay, that's what feels, something about this felt like it had a nice weight to it, more than just, oh, it has 4 things in it. Anyways, Orphen on Blu-ray, standard definition on Blu-ray. We've got, sorry, I just drifted off saying, do I even remember what happened in here? I remember I watched this. I don't remember. Oh my god, everything's fading. Well, region A, English audio. Special features are there, but that's, I'm having trouble seeing that immediately. So let's get some of this reflective crap out of the way. Clean opening animations, clean closing animations, production sketches, Japanese TV spot, Cape Day and other silliness, interview with the Japanese staff and cast, outtakes, and Sentai trailers. Oh, this is Sentai release. See, I mentioned something before that I tend to read the audio and the regioning for Sentai and Funimation stuff because they are very straightforward. They all have the same box format, so I can just go here, instantly get that information. Oh, now that I think about it, SD on Blu-ray. This is... why don't I remember any of this? Shit. Looks kind of fun too. Anyways, so if we take this, Ronja the Robber's Daughter, which actually looks really cute and great. This is Blu-ray, not Blu-ray DVD. I'll have to check to make sure I didn't accidentally miss out on a Blu-ray only version. So when we look back here, I can see a little region A thing there. But I'm looking and includes both Japanese and English versions. I read that backwards, I know, but anyways, the point is it's a little more hunty. It's not like a well-defined table, oh yes, you'll find all your information here, which is also where you used to be able to find runtime information, but I digress. Anyways, I'm surprised, because I would have thought I got both a DVD and a Blu-ray version, but what the fuck do I even have here? Got a disc 1, and a disc 2, and a disc 3, and a disc 4. Something tells me this isn't a movie. Well, then that would make sense why it may be Blu-ray only. What's going on here? That looks kind of not human, which is kind of cool. So if I start looking here, see, I'm having trouble finding anything that says yes, this is running time down here, but 10 hours and 50 minutes. I have no idea what this is. Now I'm wondering if this is a series, but at 10 hours, maybe I would handle that better if it was in minutes, because usually I know like 325 minutes is a one core thing, I think. 650 tends to be 10 hours, it's 60 plus 50. That would be 650, so this might be a 2-core release. Oh, you know what? I think we need to check under here for sexy trees. Just because this is not coming off as easily as it normally does. Oh, you know, it says on the front there that has... Yeah, I'm just going to leave that alone. We have Waiting in the Summer. If this looks like a familiar title, it's because I've gotten it before, but this one has English dub version. I mentioned a couple weeks ago that, you know, I try to look for these things, and sometimes I notice it, but I didn't notice it with Nichijou, and this is one tenacious piece of plastic shit. There we go. And this is one that I had mentioned that, oh yes, I did notice that this one got an English dub release. I don't know why I missed Nichijou. I guess because this one kind of has it prominently listed on the front. And it seemed like the Nichijou one didn't. Anyways, before we go on, we've got an English dub, oh of course, and you know, Region A, 12 episodes plus OVA on 2 discs, for 325 minutes, which is 13-ish episodes usually. And then if we go in there, we have Cute Couple. I'd say cute couple, but they're not a couple, that's a quartet. Anyways, cool stuff. And this is for all the ladies. And the guys who kind of are into swimming or into guys. I don't remember if this was completely new. I think it is. Is this a new season? New series? What did I even get? I don't remember. In fact, I haven't pre-ordered next month's stuff yet. But it feels like this is covered with glitter. It's not. Anyways, let's, this is free Dive to the Future limited edition. Make a splash. So you see, at a glance, I can find Region A. I can find Japanese and English audios. 13 episodes on 2 discs. Blu-ray 2 discs. Don't miss this hilarious unaired episodes. Don't miss the hilarious unaired episodes 0 OVA. Texas opening and closing. Texas closing episode 1. 6 foil art cards as seen in the Japanese release. Well, yeah, okay. So why don't we take a look at those? Because this, you know, sometimes I don't do this. Oh, it's shiny. Yeah, we want to take a look at that. That's pretty cool. I see. So they have these in order to... Reminds me of Magic the Gathering. You know, I've got a lot of foil cards. Mostly because I've made entire decks out of them. I know, it's a stupid obsession. Whoop, whoop. I guess the ordering doesn't matter per se. I was trying to maintain something in order. Oh, I see. Maybe the ordering sort of matters because the paper divides probably protect the foiling. So let's put them back in this order. Very pretty pictures. Not a lot of guys, you know, showing off their excellent swimmer bodies, but lots of tuxedo stuff. Those are actually some pretty cool cards. You don't usually see cards like that, do you? And I guess I shouldn't be asking you. Y'all are probably asking me. It's like, wait, Giga, you're the one that buys all this shit. Still feels like there's some sort of something covering it. Not sure if dirt or just paper or something like that. Ooh, bios. Ooh, text. Ooh, pictures. And then here we've got Blu-ray with our main cast posing sexily in case they get covered by stickers. I was just kind of thinking, can I look at their personalities and say, oh yeah, that person's best stroke is breaststroke? Because I don't remember what I did watch. I forget so much. But I was just thinking, oh yeah, that one's the Raphael of the group, so he's obviously a third, so he's the breaststroker. Which is really silly logic if you think about it. Especially since I was a breaststroker and I don't think of myself as a Raphael. Well anyways, last but not least, we have a record of Grancrest War Volume 2. You know, it seems like you know, the Aniplex wallet destroyers have slowed down a bit. Maybe because, you know, if they were release them too fast, then only those collectors who have no life and spend all their money on anime, you know, like me, will watch it. So let's see. What can we contact? Extras, web previews, textless opening, 3 versions and an ending, English dub trailer, second core. It's nice that we got that officially. Deluxe rigid box and booklet. Yeah, compared to the really early Aniplex releases, there's some good rigid boxes. Package materials by... Unfortunately, as nice as the picture is, I'd like to keep things. And we're looking in the back here. So like this one, guess there it mentioned Japanese and English audio. Gosh, I'm reading those backwards. We see 300 minutes, which means it's about 12 episodes. We don't see it saying region A, but this might not have any region coding, so... Because I think Aniplex isn't as afraid of that. They just sell their stuff for a good price, and they're like, yeah, okay. It's still... I don't know. Okay. 13 through 24, so that's 12 episodes. With no half episodes, so that's 12 episodes. Fortunately, I still only watched the first half of... What was the order of these? Maybe like this. I guess it doesn't matter. Ooh, pretty. Actually, all the artwork's pretty. But I don't know, for some reason, the white and blue of the wedding, it felt like it had it. Anyways, these are upside down, but you can see discs 1, 2, 3. With record of Grancrest War magic symbols on them. Alright, well, here's this week's anime DVD collection update. Alright, as predicted, my friend decided we would go back to Dragon Ball Super Volume 8. You know, we're not watching stuff very fast, I know. And so, we're still not even done with this, let alone Naruto DVD set 38. Naruto Shippuden DVD set 38, I mean. What can I say about what happened in here? Tournament of Power stuff. I'm trying to remember what happened. The show's kind of, you know, going back and forth and having fun with stuff here and there. It was neat to see some things. It was interesting to see certain other things. It's a bit all over the place. I'm not sure if there's things I want to talk about specifically. If there's one thing this part of the series suffers from, it's obviously not enough eating food. You know, I mentioned before that you know, that seems to be a prominent thing. So obviously they misspelled the name. It's called Dragon Ball Super, but I think they have accidentally left out a letter. It's supposed to be Dragon Ball Supper because they're always eating or something like that. But, you know, putting that aside, entertaining stuff has happened. Some interesting interactions, but it is suffering from the problem of well, I think the tournament power is only supposed to last 50 minutes, but as far as I can tell, yeah, the tournament power is supposed to be 50 minutes, but since over an hour of time has passed and less than 10 minutes of time have passed in the tournament power, or something like that, kind of suggests, you know, that's not keeping very accurate track of time. I'm trying to think how that compares to like the Frieza saga, where I know some people thought that, you know, the Frieza stuff was just so important that, yeah, of course it took a long time, but it's definitely something we make fun of, and the fact that we make fun of it did show up in DBZ Abridged for the related scenes. And I guess for me it was just always, it wasn't as dynamic as it really could have been, whereas Dragon Ball Super is keeping its battling pretty dynamic. I mean, the fact that it is working hard to specifically bring back certain old characters, and I don't... Okay, so he is old in age-wise, but I mean, like, old characters that have been around, but we haven't been able to see them in combat because, for the most part, the series had just accepted, yeah, they're already outclassed by, I don't know, absolutely everyone, everything. They're not even a drop in the ocean. They're not even a sneeze in a bucket or something. I don't know. So they're bringing him back because they're trying to make it where it's just not some power level dick measuring contest, which you can kind of tell the original DBZ realized it had to break away from, because after the Frieza saga, it started really backing away from that stuff, and then people start calculating power levels based on relative things and guesses and estimates and things like that. But then you kind of realize that power levels are kind of bullshit, and Dragon Ball Super seems to understand it's just overall a lot more of a self-aware series in that regard. Now, it is possible that people wouldn't enjoy this as much, but in terms of being a mix of the power aspects and the goofy or aloof aspects of historical Dragon Ball stuff, Dragon Ball Super is a great mix of the two. It's definitely going a little all over the place, but it feels like it's set itself up so it's allowed to do that, while at the same time kind of leaving, yeah, everything seems to be just a mix of those things, and it's entertaining. I'm looking forward to seeing more. Just hoping Volume 8 doesn't, or Volume 9 doesn't come out before we finish Volume 8, because we're not catching up on stuff. And I did mention I had actually started watching this, and I didn't actually go much further, because I had watched one episode last week, but I didn't talk about it. First of all, this thing has a really fucking what name, and I decided to just put it in and kind of look at it. And the truth of the matter is, I think this episode deserves the 3 episodes, because the first episode is definitely setting stuff up, but it's definitely not where the series is going to be long-term per se. What I mean is, like, it sets up where the main character is, but I haven't seen these two meet up with him yet, for lack of better details. But let's see. The first episode was interesting. There's something about it that definitely feels non-traditional in terms of its character interactions, its setup. It's refreshing, but at the same time, maybe not exactly packing an oomph that would get you going, oh yeah, I definitely want to watch this. I think part of that is you really kind of see where it's going, but it hasn't given you a payoff for where the first episode ends. Now, part of the reason I stopped is because when I started into the second episode, the main character was talking to another character that kind of understood that something was needing to be negotiated, but they were throwing fake numbers out there when our main character should be more of a character out of place, and the show was, I think, trying a little too hard to establish this mercenary character as a mercenary character. I don't know if he's even in there longer term. Maybe it would be better if he wasn't, but I paused it at that point, and then I guess I just kind of left it there for a couple days, and then my friend came over and we watched Dragon Ball Super. So I'm not sure entirely what to think about it, because I haven't given it a fair chance, and maybe I'll come back around and give it a fair chance. But from what I've described so far, or what I've seen so far, there's something definitely lacking, but at the same time, it's not necessarily unwatchable. It's definitely got a title that makes you go, what the fuck? And I mean, this is Derrida Who Leaps Through Time. And you can kind of figure Derrida is a name, but then why as a title do we care that they leap through time and that they are a who that leaps through time? There's some weird translation-y stuff going on there that makes you wonder if that's actually the way the way it am be. Yeah, so yeah, don't know what to think about it. The only reason I might not get around back to it is just because there's so many things I could watch, and I just keep piling up unwatched stuff. And Island is the final anime that I've started into, and I think I'm only 4 episodes in. I think this is a 1 core. Probably says somewhere here on the back 12 episodes. Doesn't say anything about OVA. Okay. And so far, it's actually kind of nice and pleasant. I think I probably saw the advertisement for this one on Rewrited,
And that's why I decided to watch it, because I'm like, oh, I didn't know that this one was maybe about time travel, because it basically starts out with the premise that our main character is waking up on this island and he doesn't remember anything except that he traveled through time. And that could sound like it's a setup to an adventure, but it's really kind of told in a more aloof, yeah, that's apparently the only thing I remember. Oh, well, that's unfortunate. And, you know, you have interactions and dialogue between the characters based on that. You know, it says it's based on a visual novel, so interaction driven stuff seems to be more what it would be about, just from that little piece of information. But anyways, the point I was trying to get to, I guess it wasn't a point, I guess the general idea I was trying to describe is that it's definitely a more slice of life romantic comedy-ish sort of thing, but it is a lot more chill in that regard than a whole lot of other stuff out there, which is kind of nice and refreshing. Probably helps that our main character of undeterminate age, probably, yeah, I don't know. Presumably adult, maybe not. Because the truth of the matter is I haven't heard them actually say it now that I think about it. And even though he may be drawn taller than these other girls he interacts with, maybe he's not supposed to be an adult. Maybe he's not quite there. Maybe it doesn't matter because he's not obviously the same age or mentality as other people, but at the same time, his own thing. Anyways, so far it's interesting. I want to see more of it to see if there's anything good to really grab onto, but otherwise it's kind of just a nice, pleasant watch. Okay, so other than that, what have I done? I watched Invader Zim Enter the Florpus, and actually I thought it was kind of nice. So I guess the summary of my Invader Zim history is I watched the series once. You know, I think it was off of a DVD or something like that. DVD set. I don't remember. If it was one that was lent to us. And based on other people's descriptions, I suspect I enjoyed Invader Zim for a reason that's maybe not the most common ones. So like a lot of people really like the kind of dystopian world that it builds of people who are maybe something out of Idiocracy, I guess. With, you know, these other little cool things happening here and there, but, you know, it sounds like people like that, and that part was actually one of the few parts that I didn't care about. The art style has always been one that's been really neat, and for me, I guess I've always been a fan of Zim, and basically he's the titular character, and I have this bad tendency to always be interested in the titular character. But what I like about him is he's an idiot and an egotistical maniac and a narcissist to the point where he's often the reason his own plans would fail. But he's got cool stuff, and the menace is still real. This is kind of like Squid Girl, where Squid Girl is, you know, a squid who's a girl who is coming on to the land to invade humanity, even though she has no idea what that involves or means. She's just actually a simple sea creature with human-like, a human-like boost in interactional capabilities, I guess. And most characters just don't really care about her talking about invading humanity or whatever, and the one character who does, and who has pointed out that a lot of the other characters can just kind of not take Squid Girl seriously. One of the points she makes is, yes, but it is her ideas that are dangerous. Which is, you know, fun, and that one's playing it from a different perspective, where Squid Girl is really this innocent, naive creature which kind of imagines this idea of grand things, but she isn't able to, but we understand her plight and sympathize with her to a certain degree. And, you know, for the most part, she is a really well-intentioned creature, even if she, you know, is kind of in conflict with all this. And so Zim is kind of interesting because You know, he's just about exploring that. He's full of dangerous ideas, and it's interesting to just see what he does and what he fails to do and all that stuff. And so, you know, I think that's a lot of stuff that I liked. And it's interesting that Invader Zim Enter the Forpus kind of actually has both of those things bouncing around pretty well, because that pretty much means that, as far as I can tell, it objectively captures the spirit of what people enjoyed about Invader Zim. So, my own memory of having watched it at one time, everything kind of felt Invader Zim about it. The characters, the voice actors, I didn't even notice that there was slight changes to some of their designs. Other people kind of pointed out like different corners that were intentionally no longer rounded and things like that. But the way they moved, the way they talked, the way they thought, the way they interacted, the way they... It all felt Invader Zim. And I've heard somebody describe it as a movie-length Invader Zim episode, and that would normally be something to be kind of concerned about. But when you think about it, Invader Zim does have within it the capability to have rather epic little stories told within its episode time slot. And because of that, because the Invader Zim formula is flexible like that, that should tell you that the movie's allowed to be of a scope that doesn't seem out of place for a possible episode, but at the same time, it doesn't have to differentiate itself too much. Like, it doesn't have to be a Simpsons movie. It doesn't necessarily have to, you know, be the movie of Invader Zim. It's more Invader Zim for most part, and it hits the notes pretty well. So yeah, that's pretty cool. But you know, outside of that, I don't know that I've been doing much worth talking about. Sleeping, VR chat stuff. I guess this Saturday my company is going to be doing some sort of charity streaming event thing. I might even know what the Twitch is. I don't know if any of y'all would be interested in that or not, but feel free to mention it if you're curious. All I know is I'll probably be there all day Saturday trying to help run things. You know what, now that I think about it, I should probably wash and prepare my Mario costume. Did I say what day of the week? It's all day Saturday. I don't know what day I said. It's whatever the 24th is, which I believe is Saturday. 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. Saturday. So, I don't know. I'll have to figure that out. In the meantime, y'all have a nice week.